So this is how we're gonna have to do this video session because we're trying to figure out how to show you guys what we're working on. So in this video, what we're going to be looking at is Soph on the weak side, and what we're looking for is the week before we had talked about her in this situation here in a similar marking spot, and what she does is comes off of her player here looking for the ball. She's in good position here, comes off of that player looking for the ball, and she gets a clean header. Real tough marking spot, but we need to be able to stay on their body. In this situation, Soph is again one of our only players who's marked up tight. And when this ball comes in, this actually looks like, and you'll see, keep an eye on her right here, this looks like it could be a bad spot. And Soph is all over her, just making sure that she doesn't get it. Ball rolls out, and we end up with leaving a goal kick there. That's how you mark on corner kicks. Next thing we want to talk about is what we do when we have options with the ball. I think that we force it a little bit. So we're talking about here, okay, we had a lot of options backwards. We end up trying to play this perfect ball into a tight seam. We miss it to the middle, and it's a turnover. So not ideal. On this one, we're looking at, this one we're looking at the easy zone, right? And so here, both of our center mids get pulled away from the middle, and our weak side mid is too far away to help. We don't care about this player. Benson should probably be between these two at this point if these two are out here, because this spot on the field is by far the most dangerous spot for us. And anytime that we have to have a center back step forward, we leave huge gaps. And right here, it's exactly what happens. And then they get right into that seam, whereas if Benson had been there, Jaden's home, and this ball doesn't really cause us any trouble. So when we talk about the easy zone, that's what we're trying to prevent. Same thing here. We're looking for organized central mid shape. I think EJ is too high. We'd like her to be dropped in this pocket, and then Kennedy can slide over a little bit more. So sorry these are going a little fast. We might have to watch this video more than once. Just make sure you know the parts that are relevant to you. However, and then, so right here, we win the ball, and then we're looking at where is this player, right? And one of the other things that we've been talking about is, can we get these guys pulled down here? Because if we can pull her wider, this pass to Miley looks a lot better. We also open up more options for our center mids, although right here they're a little too close together, right? And when we finally force Jaden to dribble, we end up in a tight spot there. So this is a good video of defensive organization. Now we're going to watch how Soph is shaping toward the outside. She tries to get back to the middle. She's back checked the whole time. Soph makes her hear footsteps. They start to come to the middle. Let's see how we defend this. Everybody's shaping toward the outside. Soph's coming to put pressure on, and we force a tough pass. That's all of our help there. All of our help here is middle. We like what we see, especially with the weak side winger coming all the way across to help out and make sure we take away these players. So that's a good version of central defending. This one we've been working on too. We've been talking about these dribbling runs from our three center backs and how safe they have to be, right? Watch what Gossett does here. She just takes it easy. She finds the seam, and most importantly, she gets back to the middle, because middle opens up your passing options toward the weak side. So right here, she just dribbles away from that player, dribbles away from one more, never takes her on, just dribbles away from her. And by the time she gets here, she's opened up so many passing options. This is one of our better attacks of the first half. We like that. We really like that. And then we ended up winning a free kick off this that turned into something dangerous. We probably remember this one. This is the one where Penny runs all the way back and just gives her phenomenal work rate. And the other thing that I think is important here, although it doesn't end up making a huge difference in this play, is these two players right now, I know that you're behind this guy, but if you can make her hear footsteps matter, right? The more that she has to hear footsteps. And so if you could have made this run tighter. Just make her feel like she's under pressure. There's nothing out here that we're worried about. If we could have delayed and waited for these guys to come back, I think we would have been in a really good spot because everybody's working really hard. Instead, Penny has to save the day for us, which of course she does and falls into the goal like a champion. So this is the one that Jaden told us wasn't realistic one time. Remember when we were playing that unpressured backs game? Hey, if we drop this much, we're going to have some time and room on the ball. These guys need to drop. That player needs to drop a little bit quicker as well. Because from here, I don't think that this is going to be a great passing option if we can carry it into this seam a little bit and force this player to either step here or drop middle. Like, it becomes a lot easier of a pass. This pass eventually has to be like squeezed into a tight window around 3 players. I think, Jaden, just a small carry to force this guy to make a decision, right? A little bit of a dribble, and then it's either Benson in the wide spot, or if she steps wide, Miley in the middle to Benson wide becomes a much easier pass for us. Okay. Good thing I have this whole screen recording on. That was a pretty good look in the end. So here we've been talking about this, where our wide guys need to become a center mid. And while we're looking at this one, our wide guys need to become a center mid because our center mid steps all the way forward. This player becomes the more problematic player. So as we look at this, and we've only got one center mid, we probably need this weak side player squeezing harder to leave this player and take away a more dangerous option central. This is when we're talking about forwards. We're looking to go opposite way of the entry pass. Instead of coming, so the entry pass came from here along this line, right? From right here, it goes this way. And when that happens, we're looking opposite. We don't have to play opposite, but watch Kennedy's eyes here and tell me if she ever looks to the opposite side of the field or if she's just eyes on the ball, eyes back to the same way. Because if we go opposite, there's a lot of green out here for our outside back to end up rolling into. I thought these had been a little bit more well sorted, but they're not. Marco put these together, so thanks to him for putting all these clips in here and putting in these things. But they ended up being not grouped by type, and instead just from the beginning to the end. So here we're talking about center mid, and I think it's going to become an easy zone problem for us. Okay, Penny does a good job to sort of put her under pressure, but we let her to the middle, and then when she goes by, Miley, if you're going to come off of this guy to pressure this pass, you better make sure that she doesn't get open for a pass, right? We better cut off the player that you're leaving to go pick this guy up. And Penny's got to be going super fast. Benson's got to be squeezing again harder to the middle to help our center mids, because this becomes one of the more dangerous attacks for them when they get into our box and bad things start to happen. And then the last piece of this is we've got our 3 backs, and then our 4 midfielders are all over the place, standing around looking at this ball in a shield. Look, if the ball's inside us, we should be doubling back. We should be doubling down on this ball the way Penny's close to doing, right? So that we can make sure that we're not getting caught in this bubble with the ball inside of us. Allowing ball to be played in front of our back line. Okay, so right here, we've got our back line, we've got our 2 center mids. We like this. We like this shape. I think that these guys might be a little deep. Maybe it's because we just lost the ball, but can we make sure that this gap isn't huge? Because what's going to happen is this player is going to sneak in here and pick this ball up in this spot. And that is our most dangerous area. So either these guys need to be a hair higher, or else right here, we need to be telling Penny, left shoulder, right shoulder, right shoulder, right shoulder, Penny. And because when she picks the ball up in this spot, this is where we get in trouble if we get in trouble, right? This is where we get in trouble. They end up, because they get into these zones, one of our backline players has to step. It opens up gaps in the backline, and all of a sudden things become problematic for us. Jaden holds this girl on side, and it's not a great spot. This is one of my favorites. As you know, we get a beautiful sweet spot attack out of this. Good defender, but we just burn her for pace, and this is wonderful. We need players finding that penalty spot. Lulu looking to find that penalty spot. We're going to score goals off of that. So here's one where we get our short corner, and here, ball goes to the front of the net. We don't need to drop this back to Lulu. We don't need to do anything. We got our first wave. The whole point of corner kicks is to get the balls to the front of the net where we have numbers with a second wave coming. Lulu will come in and join that second wave if we serve it here. Instead, we play a tough ball, and we never actually get this ball to the front of the net. Never actually get it to the front of the net. So we need to make sure that on our corner kicks, whether we go short or long, we get it to the front of the net. This is one we've been working on a lot. This clearance cannot miss middle, and this turns into a goal against us. And this is not right now a dangerous situation. So if we're clearing this, it's got to go high and wide, get ourselves out of trouble. And instead, we hit a player, and it stays in the ballpark. And then, as we've talked about a lot, whether or not we win has a ton to do with these three players defending. And here, I don't think she hears these footsteps. These footsteps are not very loud. We're not actually putting back pressure on her. And because of that, she has an easy pass to make. Okay, we still don't get back pressure. She doesn't feel any pressure. All we need is somebody chasing her, making her hear footsteps, maybe get a hand close to her so that she doesn't get an unpressured shot, because an unpressured shot becomes a goal. So this is one where we've been working on this a lot too. First of all, we need to get these balls on the ground. But even right here, we need to get quick, good angles of support, because right now, maybe open up to this spot here. Maybe find a different pocket in here, because what we end up with is picking this ball up too close together, not really helpful, doesn't really make a move, and walks in with defenders, not three players defending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of us realistically. So our movement here, just jogging, walking, not creating space, forces Lulu to have to dribble, and we turn it over. I don't remember what we were doing there. I think that might have been not a complete video. That's okay. So right here in Penny, we've talked about this one a lot. Center mids, we do not need to win this ball. We need to force it into this double team. So right here, Miley is looking to double here, and as soon as this ball gets past Penny, you need to force it back into this double team. We don't need to step and win, right? Build this wall behind her and force her back into this double team from Miley or possibly EJ, so that we don't allow her to the middle. Instead, we dive in there, we dive in there, and we dive in there, and this is one of their dangerous attacks, right? And we dive in again, and on the fourth dive in, fortunately, we win it. I don't think that that's good defending from Jaden either in this spot. Stay on your feet, force her wide, make sure that we can defend, because right now this is not an emergency, but if she goes by you, it becomes an emergency. So we have to understand better what those situations look like. But again, it's phenomenal tenacity. Our defending has been really good, and part of the reason is because we've been such zealots about how we go about our defending. This is a quality build out here. Swing the ball. A little bit in baby dribble. Find that forward, that ball that we talked about earlier with Jaden. Easy ball to the weak side because it was unpressured. Oh man, this just looks like great soccer, doesn't it? And guess what? Last piece of this, right here, she sees the ball. This defender sees the ball, but Katie jumps back in front, takes the body contact. Let's show you that again, because she entices this tackle by she sees the ball, and Katie just jumps back in front, takes the contact through the legs. Obviously, we get a penalty and score. A sandwich, remember, needs to be from opposite sides. So when we talk about a bad sandwich, I think that this is not the picture we're looking for. We're looking for one wide stepping up and the winger dropping back on her, not two players coming from the inside and the winger coming from here. I think we end up with a few players out of position because of that. Ooh, this one I liked. The ball gets played past our midfielder, immediate tracking, makes sure that she doesn't get by her, wins the ball back, forces a double team. Great work rate in the midfield. We can keep them out of that easy zone. We're going to be in a good spot. Good attack, it says. Creating goal scoring opportunities. So we started as always with our good attacks, or a lot of cases, we start on the right, entry ball, look opposite T, and she does. It looks opposite. Ball came from here and it goes to the inside. Look opposite again. Great ball in. Now we need a sweet spot attack from Benson. And we get a cross here. It's not a bad idea, but one-on-one, hey, if you can beat this player, it's a real likely goal scoring opportunity, because then we're 4-on-3. So, that ball, if we cross it, it's got to get to our players at the front of the net. And if we're one-on-one like this, man, I want to see us try to take these players on and really put them under pressure. Poor defending leads to goal scoring opportunity. I don't think that that's poor defending leads to goal scoring opportunity. I think this is good defending leads to goal scoring opportunity. We got a ball that's bouncing around. We step hard. Great tackle. Immediate turn from defense to offense, and we look to release. Only thing I would say is we're 3-on-3 in the box here. I don't know if we need a shot or a ball that these guys can go attack. Another sweet spot chance. Benson picks the ball up. And as we see, like we want to do is attack this area here between the six. We don't want us to play the ball too early before our players can get there. I think that's what happens here. We're not quite there yet. We need to allow these guys to get there, and maybe you can turn that corner and really put them under pressure. But it's still a good play from us to get there. Another sweet spot opportunity. Great little flick. Right here, this is where you get a chance to press your advantage. We don't have players at the penalty spot here. We got Lulu too wide, T too wide, not looking at each other, right? So right here, we're looking at a cross, and we don't have players in front of the goal yet. We need T, we need Lulu to be in there. That's not a real sweet spot chance because we're not in front of the goal. All right, that's it. That was kind of long, but it would have been a lot longer if we had to do other stuff like meet up. So hopefully you got something out of this. If you need to watch certain parts of it again, go ahead. And if you have any questions, please let me know.